She got 850,000 people registered to vote. Okay? He didn't even say it right.
Yeah. Positioning, right? He's trying to make it look a certain way. But I knew as soon as he said Stacey Abrams' name that it was over. Because he gave that acknowledgement to this woman, which she deserved it, by the way. I mean, she gathered and that's why Trump tries to say, oh, well, she harvested her somehow. Like, basically, she finessed the system to get this many people registered to vote. No, she got this many people ballots, is what he said. All that was is, like you say, him making sure these people were qualified to go and cast their ballot.
Exactly.
Not going out handing out ballots to people that are ineligible voters. That's why I say all of that language.
It's how you say it.
He just and Fox News and the latter are just eating it up and helping it to position him as someone being cheated. So now when we have the transfer of power, you have half the country who believes that the system is just a cheated system because of this man's leadership. So, I mean, to be fair, a lot of us felt like it was a cheated system previous to that. But I think that this year's election actually showed us that your vote does matter.
That's what I'm saying. So, and he's trying to make it seem like America's voting system is rigged just because it didn't go in his favor. And that's not how a president should act. When have you ever seen a president not want to concede? I mean, there's been times in history, but like, we're past that. You lost fair and square. We've been recounting the votes, and you're still losing in those same states you already lost in. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Childish, if I must say. But I do think that, obviously there's nothing he can do about it. I saw Van Jones, the video you sent me about Van Jones, where he was talking about constitutionally he does have a way of getting this election to go back into the Congress by not conceding. And I do think that's something that everyone needs to look into. Now, I have talked to other people that are more versed
that people don't really understand what he's actually doing.
Yeah, I mean, but even I have heard some people that are versed in politics and how that goes, but they're trying to say that still there's nothing he can do. I don't know. Van Jones maybe just being an open mind, look into there being certain stipulations in the Constitution where if he does not concede,
he's going to do anything he can do.
They will try to make it another option back in the Congress. So I do think that we need to keep an eye out for that and see what happens all the way to the end. Because what is it, January 19th?
Yep.
January 20th?
I think it's January 21st.
Yeah. We're going to be in D.C. and we're going to see what goes down.
Yeah, it's going to be really cold, so I'll think on that.
50 did come out and say Trump offered him a meal to, attend the inauguration. And
50 don't care about that, though.
Huh?
50 doesn't care about that stuff, though.
No, I don't think so. I mean, because I think that, it was at a time where they were trying to position him like he was just a Trump fan. He was like, look, I got to let y'all know, this man offered me money to support him.
Money to support him, and I still didn't.
So, I mean, I think that's why he said that, but that's also why he was saying that he's sure Lil Wayne got paid for the stint that he made.
Of course. He didn't even vote.
Him or Lil Pump, I heard.
Exactly, so like that.
Doing this for the clout.
I just don't understand why he did it.
And I was chopping it up with one of my OGs. He was saying, yeah, man, everything is about the bag. And I get that.
Yeah.
But it's just some things that we just got to know that we're just being used. Whether we're okay with it, I don't think we should ever be okay with it. But hey, I don't know. Most of us out here using somebody, so who am I to judge? So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, but I think that we gonna wrap that up, and I think we're gonna go to another song real quick before we get into what's going down with the other side of news. But this is the Mouth of the South. Go ahead and holler, let them know where they can find us, where they can reach us.
Y'all can find us on social media at the Mouth of the South on Instagram. We want to hear from you guys.
804-905-8333 right here on Mouth of the South. Shout out to the Factory Radio holding us down. Shout out to B on the boards.
Thank you, B.
And we be right bidding that one time for your mind.
that track what needed to be heard. Because the song Shots Fired already put the bad taste in my mouth, and then hearing this song, I was just like, wow, Meg, that's true. All you have to do is clear your best friend's name, and all you did was make it smear it even more. That made me look at her real different. She's been out here posting all these other girls calling them best friend. And that's what girls do. Me being a girl, I definitely know that's what girls do. When they try to compensate when they lose a friendship.
Yeah. And the question becomes, is Meg going to humble herself to come back to the table and say, you know what, I was wrong?
No.
Not to Tori, I'm talking about to her
To
friend
Kelsey,
Kelsey.
no. Especially after Kelsey came out with the song Bustin' Back Now.
You think it's on and popping?
Yeah, cause yeah. So no.
I don't think so, because Kelsey's not a rapper. I mean, Meg may say something, but it should be like off, like it shouldn't be on wax. I think that I have hope for Meg. I think that she will come back to the table and
clear her best friend's name.
Yeah, I do think so. Cause
Okay.
but it's gonna take
I
some
hope so, too.
self-reflection. It's gonna take some self-reflection. Right now, she on a high horse. She just put out an album, Good News. She on a run. Okay, but when you get home.
Yeah, she has some good tracks on that. I mean, I'm still trying to do the body dance, like body yada yada yada. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, I mean, and she has some other records. I think she came through with she got another one with Baby, and I think it smacks. Called Cry Baby. So I mean, she definitely has some records. I was kicking it with my cousin Kia. Shout out to Kia. She told me last night that What's New is her favorite record. So I mean, you got something when everybody got a different record that they like. Yeah, man. So I mean, shout out to Meg Thee Stallion.
But in the terms of music, before we get off of music,
go ahead.
We just had. I mean, I'm sorry we couldn't have our show that week when it happened, but last week we had the biggest versus battle ever with Gucci Mane and Jeezy. Okay. So if you want to know, I was definitely Team Gucci. But I think it's just because when I started really listening to what we call trap music, it was during the time of when I was like in high school and stuff. And that was like 2008, 2009, 2010. When Gucci was doing his thing,
It was crazy. It was crazy. I think that it was something that we never thought would happen. Like, I mean, it was set up to be Jeezy T.I., and that would have been cool. You know what I'm saying? They homies. It's all good. They got a little bit. Both of them got some records. You know what I'm saying? Pop records.
That would have been a good matchup.
But when Jeezy went on the Breakfast Club and said that he really wanted it to be Gucci, and then Gucci said, "Fuck it, then let's do it." That really made it like a really big thing, and that's why you see it was 2 million people tuned in when they did the verses, because the whole hood had to see that.
Sheesh.
The whole South and verses ain't seen nothing like that, and they didn't have bigger artists than them. You know what I'm saying? But it was just the moment. It was a moment in history, hip hop history for real. People gonna remember where they was at when they was watching that joint.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? So that was crazy in itself, and that's why I was giving a lot of it. I was already Team Gucci early because I feel like it was Gucci that made it what it was.
Because he didn't have to do that. He did not have to do that.
At all. He didn't have to do it at all. And he came to the table and he did his records, and then on top of that, he played the #1 diss record that was right at you. You know what I'm saying?
Truth.
And the truth. And when he dropped that record, everybody went crazy. That's what I'm saying. Wherever you was at in the world, in the country, if you knew that beef, you went wild when that record came on. And then at the end, he let him know again. I put him in the dirt.
I like how Jeezy handled that, though.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I will say that he did handle it like a man, and like all respect to Jeezy on that. Like, I can understand why people will say that Jeezy may have won the versus battle. I mean, he probably did in other people's opinion. I feel like Gucci won, but
Jeezy just championed that moment.
Yeah, he did, and he handled it well.
He definitely did, and Gucci set himself up. He really threw the alley-oop to Jeezy when he started talking about how much his outfit cost. Because when he said, we're going to do a jewelry versus, or we're going to do a jewelry appraisal, my outfit cost 10 bands, and everybody like, dude.
And no one said nothing. That was like... You're like, nobody cares.
Come on, wow.
You
already the trap guy.
You wearing
we
your
know
money.
that you made it, man.
This dude just said he owns half of Atlanta in real estate.
What can you say to that?
And you said you wearing your money.
So it was just a, you really got to see the two characters in the mix.
Yeah.
And you saw which one had more growth and although Gucci has grown a lot, he's about to have a child.
He's grown married. A lot.
Shout out to Gucci
from where his
transformation
was.
But it was just a beautiful thing to see.
He still has a lot more growing to do which is what we can see.
On both sides, I think it was pretty good. I mean,
we can see that Jeezy is definitely matured completely. He kept his composure the entire time.
Yeah. Gucci
tried him the entire time. So we definitely, like you said, we can see the different characters. Though we see Gucci he's progressed,
Yeah.
He's not the same Gucci who he was years ago.
Yeah.
So we can't even knock him there. He's definitely changed, but he's still going through it, and still learning. Definitely. But it was a big step for him to even be there and do that. So I give him all the glory. Thank you for doing that, Gucci. You definitely set the tone for the culture.
You definitely did, my brother, and it's going to be hard to follow up that verses. I'm telling you right now. They gonna wait a minute before they figure out who they're gonna do next, because that joint was crazy. I mean, they just stepped it up. It was in a strip club. They had 2 thrones on the stage. These brothers had space in between them. I mean, it really looked like a boxing match. Like, it made me feel like it was a boxing match.
But when you say about you don't know which versus battle can really top theirs, I honestly kind of do, but I don't know. I think they should do a versus battle between Jay-Z and Nas, because they also have new things that have come out too.
Yeah.
And they have their old stuff, and they have their beef, the biggest beef there is, and they're 2 godfathers in the game, they're legends in the game.
Yeah.
We see the young old cats that have, squashed their beef. I feel like that would definitely be a versus battle. I'd be definitely tuned in to see though.
Yeah. I would definitely tune in. If they did that, I would definitely tune in. But
that's like reaching, right? Is that reaching?
It's gonna be interesting. It would be interesting to see. I think but I think that it would be different, because I think that the viewers would be trying to compare hits. And I think when you get like a Jay-Z and Nas, it's just hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so they're just gonna be playing like classic hip hop records. I feel definitely gonna play some of their newer stuff, but it's just gonna be about hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's what that will be the. I think that's honestly the only one they could do where people would be like, all right, I'm gonna tune in. You know what I'm saying? It would have to be something like that, or to that magnitude. I can't think of any other verses that I would really want to see after that. You're gonna have to.
Whoever decides to go against Drake or Kanye.
Well, I already said I feel like Drake can't go against anybody other than Chris Brown in the verses. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be somebody like Chris, or somebody that's just like, you know what I'm saying, this is like walking and breathing to him. You know what I'm saying? But
they were going at it though like a boxing match.
It was like a boxing match, and it's funny that you say that, because just when I thought it couldn't get any better, we have the ultimate fight that we have been waiting to see probably in the last 10, 15, 20 years, you know what I'm saying, back when Tyson retired. But the Tyson versus Jones Jr. fight.
Roy Jones.
And before we even get to that fight, because we were on our way to that fight, that's what hyped us up, that's what made everybody want to tune in. We come across someone that we recognize. My brother Nate Robinson. Let us all have a moment in silence, please, for my brother Nate Robinson. Just 5 seconds, please. Thank you. I just felt like, first of all, it was his pro debut.
I can't even right now.
It was his debut. It was his first fight. And
I saw the picture of him.
And I saw a few tweets before the fight saying he gonna shock the world, telling Steph Curry he gonna shock the world. He doing this for all his NBA players, put him on his back. And
stop, you making it worse.
By the time the fight was over, I'm sure that they were well off.
Hold on. Talk about the fight though. Hold on. We watch boxing, right? I don't even have to be you know, a well-versed watcher in boxing to know that you don't come out swinging right off the bell. This dude came like right out, jumped at him and like trying to like punch. I'm like, why you moving too fast? You know, like.
And Snoop was commentating the joint like, perfectly. Just tell he's like he coming at him like it's a street fight, and he was.
Yo.
He was rushing him.
Like,
he wasn't punching direct. He was kind of punching.
He had
around.
You could tell that you could tell the difference between somebody who's actually been training in boxing for a while and somebody who thought his athletic ability could make him superior and just need a minor training in boxing to beat. So that was your debut. We understand that.
Well,
but Nate.
Yeah. Hey, I'm coming down like the rain. You can see me through the pain. Lit like a
Why do people get mad when they see a black man with a white woman, but praise when they see a black woman with a white man, or they don't get as offended?
I don't know that they praise it. I do think that we look at it a little bit differently. I know that there's some kind of, I heard like sayings like, once you go white, your credit get right and shit like that. So you know what I'm saying? I definitely think that to a degree some people may look at it like that, but what I think is I used to think that it was worse when it was a black woman with a white man.
You used to think it was worse?
Well, I looked at it in a lesser light because I felt like
you looked at it worse than seeing a black man with a white woman.
I did because I guess I felt like I never felt like black men got too or at least the black men I grew up around were too invested in white women. They were kind of like, cool, but I didn't really know too many of my brothers that ended up sticking with one of those with a white woman. You know what I'm saying? So, but I felt hurt. I think when I saw the black woman, because I looked at the black woman like my woman, and to see her choosing, something else, it hurt a little bit. It was like, you know what I'm saying? It hurt when I was younger, when it was kind of hard to take it, but. Now I look at it like
So you said just like you say that hurt a little bit, right? Black women, when they see a black man with a white woman, we think we are hurt because we're like, they always feel like, oh, black women are too loud and opinionated, so I can deal with a white woman who's like softer or quieter, doesn't or gives me whatever, That's how we feel. So we're hurt on that aspect. So I can see why you feel that way, but I'm telling you why people are more okay when they see a black woman with a white man as opposed to people seeing a black man with a white woman.
Well, I do think that when I see a black woman with a white man, I do believe that he's like praising her.
Oh yeah, he is.
And I think
they appreciate that.
A lot of times that is why we go for the alternative options, because we do feel more loved by them. I know a lot of brothers that, like you say, they were receiving a lot of criticism from the black woman, and they actually ended up running him off to the white woman who was, giving him all of these compliments and stroking his ego, and made him feel like, this is what I need. I don't need someone who's criticizing me all the time. I need someone who's complimenting me, and it pushes us into a corner. I think that it does take a strong man to handle a black woman. And so what I do think has happened is our black men have become a lot weaker mentally, and we're just ready to settle for alternative options. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
That's true.
But now, like I say, now I look at it, and when I see a black man with a white woman, I think that, well, ultimately he's just bringing her back to black. You know what I'm saying? Through her offspring and what have you. You know what I'm saying? So you
think about it like
that's what kind of got me right. That's what kind of got me off of it, because I was like, well, ultimately it's going to be defeating this thing that.
Well, she'd be procreating black anyways.
Right.
So that's okay in that sense, even though it goes both ways.
Right. No, definitely. Right. Well, you say it goes both ways. I mean, well, the other way around. Well, yeah, because the mom is black. So you're right. You're right. I should do that. But I think, like you say, it was really just the ego thing, seeing your woman go off. to another, you know, it's something to go through.
Yeah.
So
Because the question was, why are people more okay with seeing a black woman with a white man as opposed to a black man with a white woman?
Or which is worse?
Which is worse?
Do you think one of them is more should be held in higher regard than others? I mean, obviously we're living in 2020 where interracial relationship, especially in the state of Virginia, that it's just like every day now. It's just what we know. We have come to know. But I do still think that we have those distinct cultural differences that cause confusion sometimes, and cause us to make us feel like, oh well, you know, you ain't gonna get nothing good over there because they don't know where you come from. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's a lot of that on both sides. And so it's a very interesting conversation. We just want to know what y'all think.
The second question was, is this facts? Are dark-skinned black women expected to love themselves without any external affirmation? As a black woman, I do say yes. They're always the ones that have to come out and be like, you know, I love my skin, I embrace it, and stuff like that, because they've been bullied throughout their years, and I feel personally, because of their skin color. There's a lot of colorism even in the black community, just, let alone racism in the world, you know? So add that on to being a female, everyone has an opinion about you.
Yeah.
And I do believe that is facts, that black, dark-skinned women do feel like they have an expectation to fully love themselves without any external affirmation, because the world is always against them. And why is that?
I mean, when you talk about the world, I think what makes me think about is the media and what we put out there, the messages that we put out into the world. I think that,
as well as beauty.
Because when you say that black women have to learn to love themselves without the affirmation of others, I think that a lot, like, I think that I would extend that to black people in general. But the reason I would is because of the images that are put out there. So I feel like when you read that statement, what we mean by that is there is no messages that we see in the world that is letting the black woman know that she's loved. And so she has to get that from herself.
Okay, St. Lamore.
And we're saying that she has to. I think that's very similar for black men. But I think the reason why it is like that is because we are still trying to get that affirmation from home, like you say. Love is something that you either know love or you don't, depending upon the environment that you grow up in. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we learn to love ourselves in time, but you know love from seeing love
and receiving love.
And I think that the black woman's not receiving that affirmation from the black man. And so even at home, she's not getting it, which is what led the young woman, whoever made that meme, to say, well, the black woman's the only woman who has to learn to love herself, because she's not even feeling that love from her own man. And I think that's vice versa, but I do think, I like that question. I think it's a conversation that needs to be had.
That's true, though. But so we both believe that is facts on both ends, but you want to extend it further and say that's just that's a black people thing.
I think so. I mean, we're still living in the climate of white supremacy where everything we see is slated towards the lighter texture. Okay. And so that's something subliminal as well.
Okay. What do you feel like? What are your opinions on that, B?
Okay, so I didn't think you was coming to me today. I felt like he nailed that one. But,
he did though.
I mean, it's pretty much everything that he was saying. You know, a part of it too. You know, just in black people culture. You know,
we're expected to love ourselves without anybody.
Right, y'all are
expected. Us an attaboy.
You know what I'm saying? As women, y'all are expected to be the support being to everything. You know, like, yeah, we go out here and deal with the world, but like you here supporting the world at home, the world out here in the street, and then you got to be my support being when I'm, you know what I'm saying, when I'm down, when I'm hurt, when I need that push up, you know. And I think a part of that was part of what you was saying with, you know, we have to do that with ourselves first, you know, because if we're not, you know, how can we expect to get that from somebody else?
But I also think the question was also saying this too, though, because they mentioned dark-skinned black women. Okay, so
Yeah.
the light-skinned black women, or the light skins that are black, or the yellow bones, whatever, they do receive that love. You know, society, social media, and people praise, you know, that color tone of women already. We do see that. We can't denounce that.
Right.
So the question is saying, why are the dark-skinned ones not being praised the same? Because they're just as beautiful, you know. But they're expected to already love themselves. But the whole time, the reason why the light skins love themselves is because they also receive that external affirmation every day. They're also accepted. But then black women, the dark-skinned ones, are sometimes shunned or made fun of.
And that kind of goes back to what he was saying, you know, about the white supremacy. You know, the light skin, the lighter skinned,
or the house,
the darker skin, you
slaves,
know,
and they lived in the house and they were kept well.
You're
and
deemed
well.
more worthy than him or her because you're lighter. Or
so they taught us that. Is that what we're saying?
That has been instilled in us. You know, like
so that's what the question really brings down to.
It's breaking out, but like a lot of people don't even understand. It's still a very psychological thing that exists today.
And we're back. We appreciate y'all holding down through our musical breaks, man. Holding it down. I see us on Facebook. I see us on IG, man. We got the YouTube up. Y'all can definitely go subscribe at Mouth of the South Radio on YouTube. And we got all of our episodes recap. You can go back and watch. You can stream,
you can call in when you see us live. Comment. But we're going to get into the last question of the day.
So question 3 is, how soon is too soon to ask for someone's hand in marriage?
So you're dating somebody, how soon is too soon? I feel like most men do know when they want to marry somebody. But when now you ask the question, like, how soon is too soon?
2 months in, he asked for your hand in marriage. 8 weeks.
I feel like 6 months would be enough time for a man. I feel like, 6 months would be enough time for a man to know if he could possibly see this woman as his potential wife, you know, or just ask for her hand in marriage. I do feel like that's an ample amount of time.
Okay, I guess I gotta reframe the question a little bit, because we are acting as if, you know, this is just the dating stage, not really talking about how long someone has known someone. So I feel like
men
let's change that 6 months to 6 months of knowing this person. You know what I'm saying? 6 months, not just 6 months of dating, but 6 months of knowing this person. Is that too soon? Because I know some people believe in love at first sight. They feel like, look,
some people do.
I have never seen you ever.
And I feel
what I'm saying? And
like some people
something in me.
18 and just they thug it out. You know, they push through everything and they good.
And I just was wondering if that is really something that exists, or is that just something people
it's
talk
not
about?
too soon though. It's a discussion, not like a declaration. Honestly, if you're dating somebody, I feel like you're dating them because you potentially see a future with them. You know, why would you date somebody you don't see a future with? And I also feel like men, in a sense, have like finessed women into thinking it takes them 3 to 5 years to know if they want to marry you or not. Honestly, it doesn't. It takes a couple months, okay? Because I just don't understand why it would take you that long. But it does. So.
Well, I do have.
And there are other reasons too, though.
I just. Oh, I'm sorry. You got another reason? Because I was going to ask a part 2.
What's the part 2?
The part 2 was, how long is too long? So if it goes X amount of time and he hasn't asked you, what's like the limit? So it's like, okay, you ain't asked me in this amount of time, then we just gonna have to, you know what I'm saying? That's a good one.
I do think it's too long. Personally, I think it's too long.
What was too long?
I'm gonna say 3 years.
3 to 5 years, right?
I'm gonna say 3 years. I ain't even gonna make it to 5. I'm gonna say 3 years.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm gonna say 3.
That's true.
I respect it. What about you though?
I was gonna say the same thing though. 3 to 5. That's why I was like, you know, because then you start asking yourself, well, what are we doing? Are we like dating to see if we would even be potentially okay with living with it, that means like are you still trying to figure out if you even like this person? Because if you don't see them as somebody you want to live with in the future, within 3 years, do you even like the person? That's when you start asking yourself.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, I mean.
What do you feel like? What do you feel? Say like more.
Too long. I mean, yeah, I definitely feel like, you know, once you get into being with somebody over 3 years and y'all ain't, you know, trying to make that move, I'm starting to wonder if that's something that you even want to do. You know what I mean? Because
So yours is 3 years as well.
yeah, I would say so. Because I mean, after that, like you say, it's like
Y'all just deal.
Yeah.
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 And now they got this thing called life partners. Now that's some new jargon that people are using now, and
Right.
like
There are so many things that to define relationships nowadays.
that was another good question, though. I think.
Thank
so.
you. Y'all can chime in on social
No
media
question.
to that question if when you guys watch the video.
Chime.
Please hit us up in the comments with your opinion. We gave ours, so we want to hear yours. Thank you for tuning in. This is your host, Amanda O.
Let them know where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram, Amanda O. And you can find me also on Facebook, Mouth of the South Radio.
And you can find your main man, St. Lamore, at St. Lamore on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and the latter. But definitely make sure y'all follow and subscribe at Mouth of the South Radio. And we're going to be putting these episodes up soon, man. We're going to try to get back to y'all earliest on Tuesday, man. So y'all make sure y'all subscribe on YouTube as well.